outrage across the world as Russian airstrikes hit a maternity hospital. And snow right before spring break, why you need to hear the weather before you head out of town. Plus, student loans may be forgiven for up to 100,000 people. Find out who qualifies. This is OU Nightly.
Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Jessie Klinger.
And I'm Kolby Terrell. We begin with heartbreaking news from southern Ukraine, where Russian troops have bombed a maternity hospital. Ukrainian officials say at least 17 people were wounded in that attack, some of them pregnant women and young children. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky took to Twitter to call the strike, quote, an atrocity, and wrote women and children were under the wreckage. The World Health Organization has announced 17 are injured and 10 are dead.
These attacks deprive whole communities of health care. More than 2 million people have left Ukraine, and WHO is supporting neighboring countries to provide health care for refugees, most of whom are women and children.
The Pentagon says despite the recent attacks, it still does not plan to provide MiG fighter jets for the Ukrainian Air Force. The U.S. military is looking at helping to provide Ukraine with other weapons.
And another severe weather week here in Oklahoma with ice coming our way.
Colin Merckz joins us in the studio. What can travelers expect on the roads this weekend, Colin?
Well, if you are traveling for spring break, you wouldn't be able to tell it right now with the current temperatures, but we do have the possibility of some severe weather for winter travel. Right now, mid to high 50s across the state, even getting up to 61 in Guymon, where some of those warmer winds from the south keep us a couple degrees up. But for if any travelers that are going to be leaving for spring break, you're going to have to keep an eye Thursday and into Friday, especially Thursday night as Friday rolls around, early Friday morning, and then moving into the rest of the day. But then, as Mikayla is going to cover up soon, we have winter weather and then possibility of the warm-up for the weekend after the severe weather. Back to y'all.
Thanks, Colin. And as if travelers need more to worry about on top of road conditions is the rising cost of gas. Kaleigh Tinglestad joins us live to tell us how this is impacting students' travel plans. Kaleigh.
Spring break is less than a week away while gas prices are at an all-time high, and many students are fearful of what this means for their vacation. With spring break right around the corner, many students are gearing up for a getaway. With the spike in gas prices, some students are worried about what it will cost to get to their destination.
Kind of have to drive, and it just sucks with how expensive gas prices are nowadays.
According to AAA, the current average for a regular gallon of gas is $4.25. The average a week ago was $3.65, a month ago $3.46, and a year ago $2.79. In Oklahoma, the average is $3.79, which is much cheaper than popular spring break locations like Florida or Arizona. These gas prices are making many students reconsider their plans for the week off.
Obviously, if you're having to spend more on gas, you're going to have less money to spend on food and on housing and all that kind of stuff.
Students are trying to find the cheapest solutions to ensure they can still enjoy spring break.
Keep it as many people in one car as possible and just divide up the gas that way.
You can download an app on your phone like Gas Buddy to help you find the cheapest gas in the area. Reporting live, Kaleigh Tinglestad, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kaleigh. U.S. legislators are working to fast-track a bipartisan bill that would help provide aid to Ukraine. Romelo Woodfork has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thank you, Kolby. U.S. state legislators are fast-tracking a mammoth-sized bill that would help provide aid to Ukraine. The bill is worth $1.5 trillion, with $13.6 billion going to Ukraine. It would provide financial, humanitarian, and economic aid to the country. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer expressed that an aid package would send a clear message to Russian President Putin.
The clearest signal Congress can send to Vladimir Putin this week is passing a bipartisan aid package, leaving no doubt that the democratic nations of the world stand with Ukraine and against Putin's deeply immoral and bloody war.
Ukraine is in dire need of this aid as Russian forces ramp up their assault. Closer to home, 4 men are accused of planning to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020. The 4 men accused are Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Daniel Harris, and Brandon Carcetta. They are heading to trial for opening statements today. All 4 men are facing federal charges of conspiracy to kidnap. Fox, Croft, and Harris are facing additional charges. In other news, select student loans will be dropped. 100,000 borrowers are eligible for student debt cancellation. This comes after the Department of Education made changes to its policies in October. Jessie, it's time to solve some mysteries because the Volkswagen bus is back and more electric than ever. Volkswagen revealed the long-awaited electric version of their classic VW. Back to you.
Thanks, Romelo. Some of the NFL's top scouts came to Norman this morning to watch 10 former Sooners in OU's Pro Day. OU Nightly's Mady Daddario is live in front of the Everest Training Center with more on today's event. Mady.
This morning, 10 former Sooners participated in Pro Day here at Everest Training Facility, joined by NFL scouts from all over the country, where they were able to show off all that OU football has taught them.
OU's Pro Day consisted of drills such as the vertical jump, the 40-yard dash, and position practice with a variety of players performing in each. The players who participated today were looking to impress NFL scouts and, more importantly, raise their draft stock. But playing for a program like OU has prepared them for moments like this.
It's just football at the end of the day. No need to stress. I'm just out here running routes like I do it every day for years.
We saw impressive performances from players such as Mike Woods, who stayed consistent throughout the morning. Woods himself agreed, saying he was especially happy with his route work today.
And that's what I hang my hat on, so I'm happy with my performance in all areas, but definitely the routes.
And another Sooner who stood out at today's Pro Day didn't even get an invite to the NFL Combine. Later on in sports, OU Nightly's Ben Thomas will let you know who that is and how he performed. Kolby, Jessie, back to you.
If you want more details on the specifics of how the players did today, OU Nightly's Twitter has all the information.
And there's some fire danger outside of the state now, Jessie, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Find out where thousands of acres have been burned coming up.
Plus, tornadoes are popping up across the U.S. Stick around for Earth Report to learn about the damage when we return. TikTok has been at the forefront of social media since the beginning of the pandemic, but now this popular social media app is being used by soldiers and citizens in Ukraine. Warning, these videos may be graphic. Explosions, bombs, tanks, and civilians losing their homes. Some videos with millions of views are being shared all over the world after several social media outlets have blocked or suspended features in light of Russia's new law penalizing misinformation. The people of Ukraine are turning to these apps for change. And with a flood of information depicting the severity of the crisis in Ukraine, there are still many sources dedicated to spreading misinformation, so stay aware before you share.
And dry climates in the U.S. are causing fires outside of Oklahoma. Dacoda McDowell-Wahpekeche has this and more on Earth Report.
Thanks, Jessie. Wildfires in the panhandle of Florida have burnt thousands of acres and are still blazing. The wildfires, also known as the Chipola Complex, have burnt over 29,000 acres in the panhandle. The fires started in Gulf County and have spread to Bay and Calhoun counties. These fires are located just east of Panama City. Officials say that only 10% of the wildfires have been contained and evacuations in Calhoun County have been advised. A man died saving his wife during a tornado in Iowa last Saturday night. Rodney Clark had been married to his wife Judy for 20 years. Their house in Madison County, Iowa was destroyed by an EF4 tornado and it sent them airborne. The couple landed in rubble and was buried in debris. That is when Rodney laid on top of his wife to protect her from flying debris. And sticking with tornadoes, a county in Arkansas did not lose anyone but is facing financial struggles after a tornado hit the area. Officials in Pope County are saying 10 buildings were destroyed in the Martin Township 20 minutes north of Russellville, Arkansas. Some houses are being reported as a total loss. Even with the loss of buildings, Red Cross Director Justin Drittler is thankful there were no injuries or fatalities. The Red Cross has offered to help homeowners with the cleanup that will occur because of the tornadoes. And Australia is in a national emergency after floods on the East Coast have killed 22 people. Jessie and Kolby, back to you.
Thanks, Dacoda. A campus organization is hosting an art walk on the South Oval as we speak.
And if you're a fan of art, stay tuned. We'll tell you all about it.
Plus, Mikayla Smith is here to lay out when the cold weather will let up for spring break.
Cold weather will definitely be here going on your spring break travel plans Friday, but I have good news that there will be sunshine and warming up by your spring break. I have full details coming up. OU Nightly. Beautiful skyline we can see right now. A couple clouds in the sky, but overall a great day here across Oklahoma City. Temperature still on the chilly side, 42, mostly cloudy. We can see some clouds. Those winds are out of the north though, which is why we've had that cold front that made it just a bit cold across the area. We can see temperatures continuing to be in those 50s. You can see 61 in Guyman though, so it's a bit warmer in the Panhandle where those winds have shifted back out of the south, but that's not going to stay for us much longer. We can see tomorrow, if you have any spring break travel plans, will be in the 50s. All flights should be on time, partly cloudy sky. So if you're going to head out for spring break, I would advise, if you have those flights, but come Friday, we're looking at a different story. Definitely could see some delayed flights, especially in the morning. Temperatures only getting into the 30s, cloudy and snow in the morning, so that could delay your flights. Later on in the day, they'll probably have time to de-ice those planes, but before then, could see some delays across the area. And if you're driving down anywhere, south or north, could have some travel issues. Snow starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, continuing to the afternoon. Around 3 o'clock, we'll start to dip down and not really seeing as much snow, but we'll still be very chilly that day. Those winds will be out of the north, so could have some travel impacts if you have any plans to head down. So we'll go ahead and look at this radar forecast we can see. So this is one model that I'm going to show you. So this is starting around 12 o'clock. Thursday night to Friday morning. That's going to be in the upper part of the state towards the Panhandle. And this is by 6 o'clock in the morning. We can see lots of blue on the area. So that's when we're going to start to see that snow. So if you want to get up really early and you might want to head south, you might have time. But really, this is going to start pretty early. But this is why I'm showing you this one model. So this has dry air that cuts off and keeps a lot of our moisture content. So this is a different model now that I'm going to show you. So this is one that we're thinking is going to be a little bit more likely. So we're going to start off and see, again, going to have that start around the border, and then that's going to drop down. But this is one we're thinking about and we're a little more concerned with. This is 6 o'clock in the morning, but you see this pink, that's going to be freezing rain transitioning over to snow. And we all know after we saw the last week what the freezing rain can do. So areas down here to the southeast as well really have the potential to see some ice totals. So that's what's going to be causing some issues with your travel plans. Now your snow forecast, still going to be a little bit lower, and it'll go up throughout the rest of the day, and then around afternoon it'll start to dip back down again. Snow totals, the highest is still going to be for the northern portions of the state. Could see anywhere between an inch or two here in Norman, Tulsa, right there on the edge, around 2 to 3 inches possible. So could impact your travel plans. Go ahead and prepare for that now. And that Friday morning wind chill as well, we can see 9 a.m. going to be in the teens. Very chilly Friday morning as you head out the door. So if you want to maybe hold off on those travel plans, if you want to leave early Friday, you're going to have a better chance later on in the day. So tomorrow, partly cloudy, a bit warmer than we were today, but those snow chances in turn, we're going to be much colder on Friday. Sunshine will return Saturday and Sunday though, so any snow that we do see will quickly melt, and then going to be back in the 70s by next week. So definitely going to have a great spring break forecast for you. Plenty of sunshine, but we just got to get through that snow potential on Friday first.
Thanks, Mikayla. Take a stroll down a row of artwork in the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Art Walk on the South Oval of OU's campus. OU students and faculty have created their own masterpiece to encompass the theme for the week, a community of care. And they invite everyone to participate in the remainder of DEI Week.
And it's just a great opportunity to display the art as well as to display the importance of creating community of care here on our campus.
DEI Week will continue through March 11th. Make sure to keep up with their events on Twitter at DiversityOU.
And Kolby, I'm still kind of curious about those Sooners who are running around the Everest Trainer Center this morning.
Well, that's perfect, Jessie, because Brooklyn Sweet is here to talk sports and give us an inside look at Pro Day.
That's right, guys. Pro Day went down this morning for some Sooners looking to head to the NFL. We'll have more on how a certain OU player performed today. Stick around because sports is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Brooklyn Sweet, and it's time for sports. We begin today with an inside look into Pro Day, which happened earlier this morning in the Everest Training Center. OU Nightly's Ben Thomas talked with LaRon Stokes about his performance.
At the NFL Combine, the Sooners tied for the second most participants with 11. But one player that didn't get the chance to go to Indianapolis was defensive lineman LaRon Stokes. In front of numerous NFL scouts at the Everest Training Center, the former Big 12 Defensive Newcomer of the Year was one of the 10 participants who had the opportunity to run through a number of drills at OU's Pro Day, including the bench press, 40-yard dash, vertical, and broad jump. And Stokes was pleased with his performance.
I think I did good. I hit some PRs on the vert, the broad, and bench press.
In his third year with the Sooners, Stokes played in all 11 games this past season. And while he may not be high on many draft boards, he raised some eyebrows with how he competed in the drills.
No, I definitely think I elevated my draft stock, just like working with the explosion and things like that. So I think that'll look good on tape. And with the drills, I think that looked a little bit better than people may have expected. So hopefully I turn some heads.
Now, after an impressive performance, Stokes will look to continue to prepare for the next level in hopes of hearing his name called come April. Ben Thomas, OU Nightly.
After a back-and-forth ball game, OU baseball reigned victorious over Dallas Baptist in last night's nail-biter. Pitcher Trevin Michael notched 10 strikeouts in 5 innings, and in the bottom of the 5th, the bat started swinging for the Sooners, scoring 7 runs. The win snapped Oklahoma's 3-game losing streak and put the Sooners' record to 6-5. Looking ahead, the Sooners take on UTSA in a 3-game series this weekend. OU men's basketball ended their regular season with a win against Kansas State, meaning the Sooners are coming off a 3-game win streak going into this weekend's tournament. The team opens the Big 12 championship tomorrow against number 2 seed Baylor for their 3rd matchup of the season. This will be the 3rd time Baylor has ranked in the top 5 of the AP poll against the Sooners. Tip-off tomorrow is at 6 p.m. From one court to another, OU women's basketball will face a familiar foe in the Big 12 quarterfinal. To close out the regular season, the Sooners lost to Kansas after erasing a 13-point deficit in the second half. Skylar Vann led the Sooners offensively with 17 points and a career-high 4 3-pointers made in the loss. The Sooners will take on number 5-seeded Jayhawks again at 11 a.m. this Friday in Kansas City. Today's Sooner basketball star Mady Williams was named one of 5 finalists for the Cheryl Miller Award. This is the first time a senior has been a finalist for the award, and it comes at a deserving rate. Williams is the only player in the country to average 17.5 points, 17.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists on the year while playing less than 30 minutes a game. And our very own Jenny Baranchek was named a semifinalist for the Naismith Coach Award of the Year. If I could vote, she would definitely have mine, and the winner will be announced March 30th. Jessie, Kolby.
Thanks, Brooklyn. Tired of walking to class and want to win prizes? Well, Student Life might have something just for you. We'll give you the details coming up on OU Nightly.
I'm Cameron Joyner at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Today, the Pentagon has slammed the door on any plans to provide MiG fighter jets to Ukraine, calling it a high-risk venture that would not significantly change the effectiveness of the Ukrainian Air Force. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said U.S. intelligence concluded that it could be escalatory. The U.S. is pursuing other options that would provide more critical military needs to Ukraine. Jessie, Kolby, back to you in the studio.
The Office of Student Life started what they call Class Cab today, borrowing from a popular television show.
And students can get a ride to class just for answering trivia questions along the way.
Get the questions right, you win prizes. Get 2 questions wrong, you've got to walk the rest of the way.
And while today was the first outing for the Class Cab, Student Life is hoping to make the cab a reoccurring event.
And Jessie, I think some people going out of town for spring break could use those rides, huh?
They definitely could. But Mikayla, if people can't get another ride out for spring break this weekend, what can they expect?
If you have a ride, I would definitely be using caution as you drive out, especially on Friday. We could have bridges that are going to ice a lot faster than roads, so seeing that possible wintry precip in the form of either ice or snow could cause some issues with your driving, so definitely use caution. Slow down if you're going to go anywhere. Give yourself that extra time. Don't try to rush anywhere for those spring break plans. But if we do see anything, temperatures are going to be much better as we go throughout the rest of the week. Going to be back into those 60s with plenty of sunshine, so you're definitely going to have good weather if you stay here in Norman. If you go somewhere else, well, I hope you're picking somewhere that's going to have nicer weather, but here in Norman, the sunshine will return. Any snow that we see will melt. Any ice will be gone, so you have good spring break weather here.
Thanks, Mikayla, and thank you for joining us for OU Nightly.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow live at 4:30 for the last show until after spring break.
Stay safe and have a good night.